Welcome, guys, to another evening of Wellness Wednesday at the Wellness Group. Quite the mouthful.
Great to be
So,
here.
thank you. Yeah, so tonight we have Dwayne Thomas, who is a grief and aging coach. And I'm going to read a little bit about what you do because
Okay.
it's so comprehensive. You deal with debilitating conditions, and you help people with nutrition and aging. And we like our conversations are always upbeat and and fun, and that is how they're designed. But we have to go to places that are not always upbeat, such as grief, right? And you specialize in that. I know. I love the fact that you link it with food. Is very innovative. I don't know if anybody else, and I mean a lot of people, I don't know anybody else that is outright linking it. It's not just grieving, because it's really processing. Like, grieving makes it sound like something, like at the extreme, like death and something, catastrophic or life altering needs to occur. But the truth is that we grieve every day. We grieve small things. We grieve losses, right?
Right.
How does changing your inner chemistry through food begins to help increase your capacity for adversity?
Absolutely.
And also we have Jodi Rogers, who is an essential oil educator. And you work with doTERRA, correct?
Yes.
And you are able to, because, and you're going to tell us all about doTERRA and essential oils and all these incredible things, but it really spans the entire wellness spectrum.
Certainly.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, I think essential oils are becoming more mainstream. It's funny to think that it's not new. It's been around for thousands of years, but yet it's having this breakthrough in the healthcare industry because people are looking for natural solutions. They're looking for ways to help them return to nature. And I guess what lots of people, you don't know what you don't know. So I think people don't know that essential oils have very powerful chemical constituents that can help with all kinds of different ailments and just little health concerns that come to bother us, whether that's seasonal threats or minor head tension or even body
grief, right? Which is
exactly
what I liked about what we're here talking about tonight, which is different modalities on how to help yourself cope with changes and loss. So you could be in a situation where someone may not be receptive to maybe even talk about it, but you know that something's going on, and a product like this can help, right?
Well, when we have emotions, they're actually chemical responses in our cell. And so because essential oils have the ability to pass through the outer oily membrane of your cell, they can actually affect those chemical responses. And so our cells have little receptors, and they're just waiting to receive communication. And so essential oils can pass through the body and into the cell and provide that communication. So if you are feeling, a little bit anxious about being late,
For instance.
We're not going to name names.
or maybe you have a child who's facing, back to school anxiety, essential oils are really just a beautiful thing that you can incorporate into your healthcare.
You and I had an interesting experience because I prior to my meeting you, honestly, I did not know anything about oils or anything like that. So we were outside for the Markham Music Festival, and my back was hurting really badly for who knows what reason, probably stress. And so I was complaining, everybody was looking for a painkiller, and there was nothing to be had. And Jodi said, well, you can always try this cream. And it was one of the essential oil creams, right? And I like to consider myself a very open person. Like I never say no. It's usually a sure. Just gonna
You're
try.
up for it,
And
right?
so I tried it, and I put it on. Honestly, within I would say a minute or two, the pain was clearly subsiding
Wow.
and gone within a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe it. Like if somebody else had told me about it, right? It would have been like, yeah, okay, sure. But it was incredible.
Yeah.
That it was very, very powerful.
Mhm.
Now, does that work for anywhere in your body? Like if it is injury or
Yeah, if you have if you have muscle pain, then
Okay, yeah.
definitely, or you wake up with a kink in your
Oh,
neck,
Mhm.
you slept
yeah,
funny,
true.
then and so that was the deep blue rub that you used, but the
Oh, is
deep
that
blue
what it was?
oil,
Okay.
yeah, the deep blue oil is in the deep blue rub. So
Okay,
so
thank
this
you.
This is it. This one has
Okay.
something as well. Sorry. This one
Slim and
is
sassy.
it's called Slim and Sassy. So
Oh,
it's a kind of
well,
a
hey.
playful name.
Can I
yeah.
buy it by the dozen?
You can. Gladly.
Trying to figure out
Are you
what's in
feeling
there.
slim and
So,
sassy
yeah.
right
Yeah.
about now?
So actually, you can put a drop in your water if you like, because that's how.
I can drink it?
Yeah.
So they do too.
Yeah, I've gone to meetings where I want to fall asleep because it's quite not stimulating, and people run for coffee at 3:00,
Mhm.
and I'll run for peppermint and wild orange, and those two
Oh.
together is just a
That's
nice
perfect.
reawakening without the caffeine.
Well,
And,
you're always in a lovely mood,
oh,
so I'm going
there
to.
you go.
I'm going to say they work.
Thank you. They do.
Now, touching on that 3:00 sugar craving,
Mhm.
nutrition.
Well, the thing
What
about
can we
sugar,
do
what
about
can we do about
that?
that 3
What
o'clock
can we
sugar
do
craving
all
other than
about,
that?
other than these? What can we do?
I think the first thing that we have to do is really get some perspective on it. Glucose is really the primary source of energy for the cells, right?
Yeah.
But so what you really want to stay away from are refined sugars. You want to stay away from sugars that are in
Ah.
processed foods. You want to stay away
Mhm.
from things like fake sugars, like sucralose and aspartame.
Yeah, those are really bad. Yeah.
But if you're getting your sugar from an apple,
Mhm.
from fruits, that's what you want because you're also getting that fiber content.
Because people often say, like a pear, for example, has like tons of sugar, right?
For mangoes.
Is mango, bananas are supposed to have a
Mhm.
lot of sugar too.
Yeah, but all that's
But it's good,
yeah,
right?
that's all that's healthy. And
Because
it's,
there's some diets that you cannot even eat fruit.
yeah, well,
That's crazy,
diets
right?
aren't really the way that I look at things, and particularly looking at things from that food over medicine perspective, is the whole foods plant-based diet really is the way to go, and you can eat
Mhm.
anything you want. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's no real restrictions there
Mhm.
because you're not worried if you're eating salad with some avocado and tomatoes and some flax seeds.
And there's protein, because a lot of the argument you hear is that
Where am I gonna get
you
my
miss the
protein?
correct, but like if we look at animals, there's tons of animals that are plant-based. It's a plant-based diet, and they're quite muscular.
Oh.
Like there's quite
Mhm.
When you look at,
protein in
You look at like an elephant, for example.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They're not eating meat. They're pretty big.
Yeah, I think
It seems to be.
is the premise, especially if you work out, right? That is just
Right.
you're almost like protein. Like how many bodybuilders only eat chicken for Pete's sakes, right? It's
Yeah,
gross.
and it's
Um,
interesting what you're saying there, Caroline, and it's one of those things that also in my workshop that we try to address. It's some of the misinformation and the misconceptions that are out there. Because if you really look at the studies and the literature that's available, we don't need as much protein as we think, sort of culturally.
Mhm.
So again, you always have to do your research, right? If you're not
Yeah.
doing your own homework,
Yeah, what's right for one person may not
And
be
then there's
right
that.
for the other because
Absolutely.
some people have just intolerance and you may not even know, right? So
right, and
it's
that's really huge what
Yeah.
you're saying. Some people may have intolerances, they have some
Allergies.
sensitivities,
We talked
but you
about
need to
that,
listen to your
right?
body, you know?
We were talking about one of our other members prepares that delicious food that's got the non anti-inflammatory. And we may have inflammation in our body that we're not aware. So we may actually have a swelling or, that if it were in our arm, it would be obviously notice
Be
that.
more noticeable.
But it could be internal and we just keep
Right.
eating the food, but we end up with headaches or we end up with itchy eyes
Absolutely.
or, like all these your hair, actually. Hair and nails are supposed to be
They're indicators.
one of the biggest indicators that something's not is not right.
There's some imbalance.
Yeah.
And inflammation really is the root of all illness and disease.
Okay.
And so,
Actually, it's funny because I read a lot in quite broad topics, and I was reading this Gloria Vanderbilt biography, don't ask. And one of the points that she made was, which is all about keep reframing. Like if you have a difficulty sticking to a goal
Mhm.
or in an important goal, such as nutrition and health as you age, keep reframing until you get to the one that ding ding that it's
The
like
picture that
you find the
fits,
resonance. Yeah. And she said something, take a look around and see who's going to be taking care of you when you're elder. And then think again whether you want to be in good physical condition for as long
So you
as
can take care of
possible,
yourself.
so you can take care of
Absolutely.
yourself,
It's a
right?
really good point,
And
right?
I remember sitting there going like, checking people around. It's like, okay, maybe I need to start doing something about it.
And the thing is, I think if people really had that in their heads, and they also don't want to burden their family members. And
That's
no one really
right.
wants to be a burden on their
No.
family members when they're infirm and can't do things for
Mhm.
themselves. But how many people out there find themselves in that position? Quite a few, unfortunately. But we do have it. We have the ability to start to take control and take charge of our own health early enough.
Mhm.
So
So it starts now, really.
I think it starts now, no matter what age you are. but
Yeah,
it
That's
starts
true.
now.
It starts now. Now, one thing that as our conversation is going, I love Facebook. It's a great social medium, but Facebook's one of the worst for. Well, they've had a serious problem with all of these claims about products and nutrition that
it's-
are just not
For
true.
sure, and it's
right?
hard. It makes it really difficult for
So-
people to, like, who do I trust? I was giving a
Yeah.
talk earlier this week, food over, sort of a
Food
lunch
over-
and learn,
yeah.
food over medicine, not the workshop. And one of the questions came up, like, who do we believe?
Yeah.
Who are we going to pay attention to? And then that's when I come back to, it's like, you got to listen to your
Me,
body.
you gotta come to my workshops.
But the thing is, it's not, and this is what's great about Pam Poppers, it's not about replacing what someone else said with what she said.
Mhm.
It's about informing yourself and deciding what you're going to do.
That's right for you.
Exactly. As an
And your
informed-
goals.
as an informed
It's not
choice,
just
and
what's
your
right for
goals.
you, because you may think that what you've been doing all along is right for you, right? But in looking at the outcome,
Right.
and then you almost need to work it backwards. It's like, if you need to be there, you need to start kind of here.
Mhm.
So, interesting.
Everybody talks about, oh, I'm stressed. But I think
Mhm.
because everybody is stressed, and the way that we talk about it, we dismiss its impact on our lives and on our health.
It's actually what we often miss too is the impact on the people we love. Because aside from the damage that you're doing to yourself
Mhm.
internally by not finding skills to deal with stress, is the quality, how you show up for the ones you
Right,
love
your
is
relationships,
compromised,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because now it's not, you may not be as loving a mom or as patient a mom,
Mhm.
right? Or towards your spouse.
Yeah.
Just a quiet moment, breathing and smelling, and that's a form of meditation in its
Absolutely.
own.
Yeah, and then you can sort of lock in an emotion with an
Mhm.
essential
Yeah.
oil. So maybe you're using an oil while you're meditating, and maybe at another time you're finding yourself in a moment of
Oh,
stress and you
brilliant.
don't
Yeah.
have time to meditate or space to. You could use that essential oil.
Rewiring, anchoring.
Mhm.
I like that actually. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we can do things that benefit ourselves, right?
Mhm.
And that's why the food that we put in our bodies, we need to really pay attention to that.
Yeah.
So really the core of what I try to do is, it's the awareness piece, right? And this
Yeah.
touches into what we're all doing,
Everything.
which is why we're here at the Wellness Group, is,
Mhm.
the more that we're conscious of what we're putting our body through or what we're being exposed to, or
In the
How we're
environment that
behaving.
we can control
Exactly.
everything.
right, there are pieces that we can't control, but the ones that we can,
Yeah.
by all means.
Maximize
Exactly.
it.
So that's really where I come from, and it's certainly not a fun thing, right? Grief and loss and pain, but you can sit
There's a
with
lot
that.
of lessons. It may
Absolutely.
not be fun, but there's actually a lot of lessons and a lot of self-knowledge that comes from
Right, it's huge
from
opportunities
processing.
to
Yeah,
learn about yourself
huge opportunities.
if you allow that.
Mhm.
But a lot of times our environment tells us that, okay, you
You
can't, you got to do this, or you
Don't
can't
think
do
about
that.
it. Don't think
Or
about it.
it's
Right?
been long enough. It's been 3 months. What's wrong?
When that processing time comes, these are the times when you can use, you know, candles or oils, or especially because I like these obviously more than candles, because it's with intention, right? You are an active participant, and you're choosing. You're strategically choosing what you're wanting to use. But the same with food, right? So if you know that you're going through a difficult time, you know that you're going to come out of it, be it finishing taking care of someone, or finishing your divorce, or finishing transitioning your work, or whatever. It's like almost like put together a strategy, right? Like as soon as you start to feel bad, go through your oils, go through, your food. And I do want to ask a favor, because, again, we could sit here all night. And I often say that when there's wine, so you guys know that. You guys know it's like great company. I would love for you guys to, if I know you write a lot and you have blogs and such, but if you could give us some tips that we can put on our website, thewellnessgroup.ca, about foods that you can use to try to cope a little. That kind of, and I know they're in your workshops, and you have some workshops coming up, so maybe you can be in the same posting that we'll put on our website.
Sure.
I know you have some workshops coming up in September, 12th, 19th, 26th, and October 3rd. We'll put the information on our website.
Absolutely. So that's the Food Over Medicine workshop.
Yes, Food Over Medicine. And if I could ask the same thing of you, because I know you have some workshops coming up right here at the Wellness Group.
Sachets in your.
So if there's one thing, we're approaching the end of our evening. If there's one thing you would like us to know and to remember about essential oils.
Wow.
Just one.
If you have an issue, I've got an oil for that.
Okay. And to contact
That
you,
works.
you're in our directory, thewellnessgroup.ca, and you have workshops, and you facilitate some of our Wellness Wednesdays as well. So, and Mr. Dwayne,
Mr. Dwayne.
what would be something we need to walk away with tonight?
The thing to walk away with tonight is that I believe grieving well will help us age well, and aging well will help us grieve well.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, makes sense. Brilliant. Brilliant.
And if you want to learn more about healthy aging, some of the things that we can do to empower ourselves, my workshop, Food Over Medicine, starts on the 12th of September, and it'll be 4 successive Tuesday nights.
Yes. And then you're repeating it here at the Wellness Group. So,
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Well,
and
thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for making the office smell so wonderful.
My pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Thank